The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Welcome to your Health and Wellness Hour, sponsored by Luminosity Wellness Center here in Las Vegas. Coming to you from the studios of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting. Our goal is to incite and ignite all your senses and curiosities. So sit back, relax, open your mind and your heart, and enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to the Health and Wellness Hour. My name is Abram McGrath, Alcazar, just added that one in there. And we're here today speaking with Jeff Renel. Did I do it right?
You sure did.
Oh, goodness sakes. So welcome to the Health and Wellness Hour. We're here at Luminosity Wellness Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're coming to you by WWDBTV.com. Today we're speaking with Jeff, and Jeff is going to tell us about his launching business and how it's morphing from a previous business into this wonderful idea that we're coming into. We're plugging Jeff's show, Consciously Rising, here at the Broadcasting Center. And Jeff is going to tell us a little bit about what's going on and all the exciting news. So, Jeff, take it away.
Well, thank you. What would you like to know first?
I want you to tell us a little bit about Jeff and how you became
Jeff and
Jeff.
how I got here?
Yeah.
Well, I think that would take more than this hour show, especially with me sometimes. But I'll just try to make it really short. You know, ever since I can remember, since I was, a baby boy, I would lay awake at night thinking about the stars, thinking about Jesus and just the morals that Jesus had and how he healed and stuff. And truly, I don't know why, because I wasn't brought up religiously. It wasn't something that should be in my train of thought every day and stuff, but it was. It was. Yeah, and, I could sit there and lay awake at night and never go to sleep because I'd be thinking, well, space has to end somewhere. But it can, but it has to, but it can, but it has to.
So how old are you when you're launching back? How old are you at this
as far
point?
back as I can possibly remember. So, I mean, truthfully,
3-4 years old?
Most of the young memories I have that I can still remember are around 5. But but beyond that, I mean, I have to say since since the beginning, since I had thoughts, I guess. I don't know.
Awesome.
It's always been there. It's been one of those things, even when later in life, when I saw Star Wars for the first time and I saw Luke, reaching for the lightsaber and using the Force to pull it towards him, I just instinctively was like, you know what? I know we can do that. I know that's possible, especially if we're all just energy. To me, I think anything's possible. You just have to have the right belief system to create it.
Excellent.
So that pretty much started this journey. And I mean, I've really always had that type of thought and belief. And so I always, I'm one of those people that like to just sit out and stare and watch other people and wonder what's in their life, what they think and all that stuff. And I've always just tried to understand how people work and stuff. And it's helped me to where I've come today and who I am today.
So you felt like you were more of an observer, or you kind of like learned really quickly and knew how it worked at a young age and were able to just jump in there at all times?
Well, I was definitely an observer, and some things I learned really quickly, some things I didn't learn very quick at all, depending on what it was. Some things I was very stubborn at and just kept trying to plow through there, and it just didn't work. But yeah, I definitely was an observer. I thought that was a great tool to have, especially growing up. I sat back and watched some of my friends do things, or my brothers, and, was like, that didn't look very pleasant, so I don't think I want to try that very often. So I try to gain, especially nowadays, I try to gain experience myself and knowledge by learning through others. So especially if it's a bad experience, I don't have to choose into that experience. I can learn through them and not do it, because I believe that's why a lot of people are around us, is so we can learn through their experience and not have to choose in ourselves. But it's actually learning through that energy in the right way, and it's how you hold your energy in the right way that makes that possible.
Excellent. So what we do here at the Health and Wellness Hour is we try to remind people how to be well on the daily. Just implement a little simple practice. And so I know that's what you're all about, is simplicity and just reeling it in for people, because we do just get a little inundated with too much information. So if you can tell us a little bit about Theta Healing, is one of you're a big promoter of Theta Healing.
Yes.
If you can tell the listeners a little bit about what that is.
Well, I'll get to Theta Healing really quick. You said, how can we help everybody out there really quick? It's very simple. Life is very simple. We make it difficult with the brain candy that we choose to look into, but it's this simple. How do you feel at this present moment? Do you feel restricted? Do you feel stressed out? Then you're not in love. Well, I should say unconditional love, so the listening audience will understand it, but there is no unconditional love. It's just love, period.
Love.
If you put conditions on it, it's no longer love, so it's just plain love. So it's about love, and are you in love at the present moment? Not saying, of course, again, well, it's great if you're in love with somebody else as well, too. But
right, but not a romantic type of love necessarily.
It's
about your
it's about
self-love,
loving the present
right?
moment, being present, being in love, because
appreciation, maybe.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we are energy. We come from the creative energy. That means we are that creative energy. So we come from a place of love, and once we are not in that loving place, it's a fracture within us, and it creates the stress, the resistance in life. Yeah, and so that's the easiest barometer there could possibly be. How do I feel at the present moment? If you do not feel in bliss at the present moment, then you are not totally 100% in divine love. And so you need to find out what it is.
And we talked about those barometers, like our human cells, our human machine is designed to have those barometers, the thermometer, all these cues.
Yes.
So listening and tapping into your cues.
Oh, definitely.
Is that
one
part of the whole thing?
Yeah, you have to pay attention to yourself. And that's why so many people are missing their true senses in their body and stuff, and I'm talking psychic senses, okay?
Okay.
And if you don't pay attention to your body, you're not going to hear what it's telling you. We are all psychic. We all have the psychic abilities
to tap in, tune on, and turn on.
To tap into all this energy around us, and there's information.
Call it the Matrix.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, the Matrix, whatever.
Just to visualize for people.
Yeah, to me, you can call it the Matrix, you can call it the divine, whatever. To me, it is love, and it's the intelligence in that love that creates everything.
It's that ripple, right?
Yeah, God, whatever. I mean, it's the creative energy that is. And it's the creative energy that we are, that everything is.
And so Jeff is taking his practice and elevating it into helping people learn how to ripple through their communities. Is that a good synopsis?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about teaching and empowering people. Yes, and empowering is the key word. Okay, you need to be empowered, each and every person. If you're not being empowered, then you're the victim. And God isn't the victim. You are that creative energy. You're not a victim. You need to stand from the right energy, but it has to be with that love, that divine love energy.
Pure intention.
Yes. You have to understand how to love yourself, and that's where it comes from.
Because it just kind of flows out. Once you start doing it and pushing away the pain and pushing away other things that have been kind of roadblocks, then you can't help but, like, your cups filleth over, So you want to share. This worked for me. Oh my gosh, I can hear your passion in your voice and how it, so tell us a little bit about you said you've always innately had that, but were there ever points in your life where you were living the mundane and you were doing the things and then you had your full awakening to come into your true self? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, we can go into depth into this because there's a lot of advantages to learning how to tap into my spiritual abilities later than being born in, because believe me, I didn't have, again, we all had psychic abilities, and I've had weird things happen when I was young, but I'm not a person that was an empath my whole life and could see visions and all that. No, I was trained how to pay attention, and that's what we were talking about a minute ago, paying attention to the body. I was trained how to trust myself again, trust my intuition, trust all of this stuff to be able to actually tap in.
So at what age were you trained?
Just recently. I mean, I started my true training into theta healing, which that was my true catapult into really understanding it. And it took a while.
Tell people what theta healing is.
Theta healing is a beautiful modality that was channeled and founded by Vianna Steibel.
Okay.
A wonderful, beautiful soul, and her whole family. They're just amazing people.
And where did you come into contact with them?
Well, I actually was introduced to theta healing through an amazing doctor here in town, Dr. Roberts,
Awesome.
who just unfortunately recently retired because he was absolutely amazing. And he was exactly what I needed in my life at that time. Yeah, because again, I'll go back to my belief in what I thought as a kid, that we could heal like Jesus. I've always believed that. When I saw the Force in Star Wars, we could do this.
Right.
Well, when I met Dr. Roberts and went in and was a patient of his, this guy was doing it.
Wow.
It was stuff that, amazing stuff. I've seen some of the most amazing changes. I don't want to use certain words here because unfortunately we can get people in trouble for using certain words, which is I think, I don't know, but
it's okay.
But there's been amazing changes I've seen on people that you could never believe, and almost instantly. Well, actually instantly in a lot of cases.
Right.
And
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so when I started to be a patient of him, how he worked on me and how the changes happened to me. I had a really bad back, and the doctors I was seeing at the time said I had a deteriorating disc in the back, and I was going to have to get out of the tile business, and I was going to most likely looking at having surgery soon and stuff, which I of course fed into because I didn't know any better at the time. But then luckily my dad went to Dr. Roberts and introduced me to him.
Oh, your dad did?
Yeah,
Super
out of
cool.
all people, because at the time I wouldn't expect him to believe in something like that. But
he wanted to heal you, and something put Dr. Roberts, in your dad's path.
Yeah.
So
well, and
that's
again,
pretty
that's
cool.
how the universe works and stuff, and I truly believe that it was a divine path for me too.
The dots and puzzle pieces were formulating way before you even got there.
Exactly, because even after I saw Dr. Roberts and saw what he was doing, even though as a child I just dreamed about being able to be something like that and to heal, like even come close to healing like Jesus, was just a big dream of mine. And now I saw somebody that actually was doing it, because nobody ever talked about anything like that when I was at that age. That was like woo-woo stuff. Don't talk about that.
He introduced you to theta healing.
Yes, well, he did it within his practice.
And so what do they say about this when the student appears, or what's the saying? It's like the teacher. Oh man, I'm messing that all up.
I don't know.
When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Yay! I got the colloquialism right. Woo! If I'm gonna write a book on this, I gotta do it. So he appeared.
Well,
you were ready.
And for my path, I'll say yes. Yeah, he definitely was for a teacher for me, and one I needed. Because of the way I look at life, I needed to learn from him.
A like-minded soul.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, and I almost went on a different path, and I knew that path once I understood the difference between that path and where I went with theta healing. I knew the other path just wasn't for me. I'm not that type of person.
Making better choices.
Well, it just wasn't the true choice for me. It would have been a waste of my time and everything. Never really a waste of time, because every experience is worth your time.
But a distraction away from your true self.
It would have been, a distraction.
A little loophole.
My true self is learning through the way I did. And so I was able to take his classes and start to learn theta healing through him, and then I moved forward and started to take classes from other people in theta healing and keep advancing, and then I've taken from Vianna as well to become a teacher in it. And so you've advertised around the valley for how many years now through theta healing? I've been teaching here for, I want to say, my first class was in 2010, and God bless my 4 friends that took it.
Nice. See, that's the best.
The best. God bless them for taking it.
We got a guinea pig on our friends and family.
Yes, always take advantage of your friends if they're willing to do that, because practice is great,
Yeah.
And nobody would have returned from my first class if that would have been, but.
Yeah, but you got to start with the microcosm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so tell us real quick before we go to break, your philosophy of starting strong within you first and then taking that to the next level. So your philosophy, I am a wonderful...
Oh, on who I am
Yes,
as a person?
who I
What
am
we
as a
mentioned
person.
before?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm a powerful, loving, inspirational man.
So this is something that people can apply every day in their practice, is getting up in the morning and saying this to themselves.
Or whatever they choose. That's just
Right.
what I chose to identify
Right.
myself with. But yeah, I think two very important things that everybody has to do in their life is identify who am I.
Who am I?
And not who society wants me to be or who I think society wants to be.
Who's my
who am I?
authentic self?
Yeah. I mean, like me, I can go back. Who I am today is
Right.
what that little kid wanted to be. And
Absolutely.
so I have a deep
The
seated
dreamer.
feeling that
Mhm.
most people should be who they wanted to be as that kid.
Absolutely.
Even if it seems far-fetched. I mean, everybody
Shoot for
has
the
a special
stars.
gift, and that's the uniqueness you are, not the uniqueness that society dictates
Right.
to you that you should be. It's the uniqueness you are, the one that you might be afraid to shine with. That's the true uniqueness. But I think everybody needs to find out, who am I?
Who am I?
You know, and then what do I want out of
I
life? I am a powerful, loving, inspirational man.
Okay.
And that's what I live by first. That it
That's your
dictates my
being.
whole. Yeah, I set that into my intention. I felt each one of those things. Each one does that mean to me? You know, like powerful. Powerful doesn't mean overpowering somebody. Powerful means I'm
Strength.
powerful in my conviction. I'm powerful where I stand.
Beliefs.
Yeah, my beliefs and stuff, and not so powerful where I need to have anybody else believe in them. But I'm just powerful with who I am. I want to be I want to lead by example as well too, so that's where powerful also, I feel that as well too. And so I feel each one of them. What does loving mean to me? What does inspirational mean to me? And then what does it all mean together? And I create that feeling and I embed that feeling within my heart.
Right.
So what it is, and I know how to live from that moment. Everything I do from there. If I'm Jeff running the center,
Jeff the father.
Jeff the father, whatever role I'm playing, I am that aspect first, and I'm that loving, inspirational, powerful person first, and then I'm everything else. And so
Then you're the becoming. The second part is the becoming everything else, right?
Well-
Keeping those balls in motion kind of thing, like the momentum on those, like the ever-evolving father, the ever-evolving.
Well, you'll always be evolving. Like, I'm actually starting to change that phrase that I had. I thought about it the other day. I was like, I've had this for about 10 years now. It's time for me to evolve into a different type of being instead of constantly holding that one, because maybe that's why I could be stagnant at the moment or something.
Okay.
Because we need to evolve. Once you stop evolving, you should just bury yourself.
I'm like a
you're
shark.
at the
If
end.
I
Yeah.
stop swimming,
We have
die.
to keep learning. We have to keep growing. It's what we are.
Absolutely.
We come from that creative energy. We have to be creative. If we're not being creative, we become stagnant and die off.
Creativity. So we're listening to Jeff Renel today.
Renel.
Dang, I had it right the first time. Jeff Renel from Theta Healing. And we'll be right back to you at Luminosity Wellness Center at the Health and Wellness Hour.
Put her hand in mine and said she loved me so very long ago.
Hey, how's it going? You can just throw your name up on the list and we'll get right to you. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming in. Let me just clean this spot up and then we'll get right to you. You can hop on up if you're ready. Welcome to the shop. You need a shave too, though, right?
I don't know if I would accept a shave from somebody who's unshaven.
I look like a child when I have a clean-shaven face.
No, I wouldn't want a child cutting my hair. And I'd also need to know that the blades have been sanitized thoroughly.
I can guarantee you that the barbicide is 100% authentic and these are sanitized tools I'm using.
Well, what is
Have you ever gotten a straight razor shave?
Is there any other kind? This stuff smells like Irish Spring.
Brings me back to childhood.
Did you grow up in a chemical plant? Hurry up.
Yeah, well, Now you look like $1 million.
Well, that's your job. I'll be sure and mention your facility during my show tonight.
Welcome back to the Health and Wellness Hour. My name is Abra McGrath, and today we have Jeff with us with Theta Healing and a bunch of other wonderful modalities to help us take our wellness in our own hands, to help us take our health and wellness back into our homes and just create that ripple effect that goes out from our loving ourselves to our family, to our fur babies around us, to everybody in our community. And Jeff is going to touch a little bit more on some theta healing and what that means, and to help conceptualize it for our listeners. And take it away, Jeff. What do you think? What should we talk about?
If you want to talk a little bit more about theta healing and how it actually can help and assist people on their recoveries and stuff, the one thing I love about it is it can work with everything. You can be doing your regular medical care and all of that stuff. But the emotional aspect of our illnesses is critical, and most people don't realize this. The emotional end is huge.
There has been a disconnection between that community.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an ancient philosophy you're kind of help reinstating, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what the ancients were telling us, they're finally finding out that they weren't messing around,
right?
And they had. To think that they had way more technology than us. It's
right.
Ridiculous.
They got the holistic picture.
But but the emotional aspect of our well-being is everything. Okay, unless you're in a toxic field, like you got chemicals around you, you're intaking chemicals. Your emotional aspect is more of the disease than anything else. I don't want to step on any scientists or anything like that.
Of course.
But this is my understanding from what I've learned. Yeah, the disease. It's the emotional aspect, because the emotional aspect creates the stress, and then the stress starts to make the body react in different ways, and starts to we're starving. Yeah, what about we're just we have anxiety and stuff? What happens to our stomach at that time? We're in anxiety and stress and all of that. It makes us just feel upset to the stomach, and usually what's the emotion that's hanging on right at that moment? I can't stomach what's going on. I mean, it's just a common generic way of looking at it, but that's truly the issue of it. I can't stomach what's going on. So that stress has caused all this different chemical reaction within the body. Well, now what if I hold on to it? Okay, say I got a bill in the news, or the bill in the news,
in the mail,
the bill in the mail. Okay, and I look at it and I can't pay the bill at the moment. Okay, now I got that sick feeling in my stomach, knowing I can't pay that bill at the moment. But it's like, you know what can I do about it? So I set it down. There's nothing I can do about it, or at least I feel I can do about it, because that's a whole different story. Because again, you are the creator. So I sit it down like most of us do, because we don't want to face it. Then
put it on the shelf.
Yeah, let's put it down there until I have the extra money to pay for it. So it sits there. And so does that stress in the stomach. It sits there. And you might be able to push it down, and you might be able to watch TV and think about something else at that moment.
You have acid reflux or something.
Yeah, it's still there. And the next thing, all of a sudden, you have bathroom issues, and you're wondering why. Well, is it something I ate? No. Look at your emotions before you look at anything that you ever ate, because,
So the common thread that I've been noticing, especially in my past shows this month, is we're all a little starving. We may be starving for nutrition. We may be starving for love. We may be starving for all these different things. And so our body, with that wonderful design, develops these defense mechanisms, or, all these little mechanisms to kind of self-preserve, right? So we hold on to things in fear that we may never do them again, or we may not get to that other side. And so theta healing helps release this, right?
Yes. And so what you're talking about now is our belief system, truly. Okay, how we feel, how we perceive certain things. And that, again, is where you're holding your emotion, where you're holding your true feelings and how you feel it. And the belief system is an amazing piece of the body. I absolutely love the belief system, your subconscious, okay? because it gives you so much information, but if you're not looking at the right way, you can get freaked out and panic by it.
Right.
Because your subconscious is able to accumulate every experience you've ever had in the past that is like the present moment that you're experiencing.
Right. Instinctually. Primal, yeah.
Yeah, just like that. It adds up everything that you've ever done
boom,
and
bam.
says, here, if you continue through in this experience in this way, this is what's going to happen. So just say we're in a relationship and it's starting to fall apart. You're already starting to think about it, and we all know this. We get the thoughts in the back of our heads and stuff, and we're going, oh my God, they're doing this. They're
the panic
doing that.
button.
Oh my God, they're saying this. They're saying that. And they
self-sabotage kind of.
And most of the time, it's just our own, and again, that's our belief system, thinking that people don't love us or whatever. And again, it comes back, always comes back to love.
Yeah.
Always comes back to love. Everything does. But that belief system's telling that person that, oh, they don't love me, da-da-da-da. And the other person could love them to death. But if you don't believe you love yourself, that love goes right over the top of your head.
Right.
You think that the person's playing a game or whatever it might be. So if you're in a relationship that starts falling apart, now that subconscious, that belief systems are telling you, and a lot of times
sets a chain reaction.
Yeah, and a lot of times it goes at a negative way because unfortunately that's the way we're trained, is to look at everything
That's
negative.
what we hone in on.
Yeah, because I look at the subconscious in a whole different way now, because it actually is predicting the future for you and telling you, hey, dummy, wake up. If you do everything the same way you did it in the past, you're going to have the same result.
Right.
So
well, if I actually bring flowers or like compliment her hairdo or give a few extra,
or call when I'm going to be late or something,
or some considerations in a
understanding
positive
and common
way.
sense,
So the understanding part is, we talked about misunderstanding, having life be a new understanding. Understand the understanding, and just taking those moments, and this is part of the daily practice that we're working on, is just taking a few breaths, not trying to figure it out all the time, and just letting things unfold. Because that's kind of the beauty of the whole thing. Once we get in the flow of letting that stuff go and not listening to that mind chatter and this and that, we can watch things beautifully, surprisingly unfold. And you're like, wow, I didn't have to orchestrate all of that.
That's the awesome thing about it. Yeah. Let life create for you. All you got to do is set the intention and set the feeling there, and life will start to unfold for you. But yeah, understanding, that to me right now, I think is one of the key things in life that everybody needs to get to, is understanding. We're all different. We all think different. I mean, just before we got in here, we were talking about politics stuff, and John was mentioning something about liberal this, liberal, I forget, but that person was all these different, conservative, liberal, something, and not that John was labeling them, but this is what society had labeled this person.
Or he had owned for the sake of owning it for an agenda or whatever, which is great and fine. But yeah, it was so convoluted and so complex. You're like,
but the guy just has his own beliefs.
This is who he is.
And again, John wasn't trying to.
Oh no, of course.
Put the label on the person. It's just funny how how society puts all these and segregates us into all these different categories. But we just all have different beliefs.
And being this is the collaborative. So tell us a little bit about your collective that you're growing, and how you've worked on people over the years, and maybe some of your star pupils that have launched you. It's all a reciprocity. It's all a reciprocal healing process when you go through these kind of awakenings. So who has helped you, grow with your students? And
every single one of them, I'm blessed to have that understanding, to be able to see what I'm learning from each person presented in front of me. Maybe sometimes I might be shut down at that moment because I'm just like everybody else. I have issues at times, and I let things get caught up. But if I'm in the right state of mind and in the right peace, I allow myself to learn from everybody, because they're all put in front of me they're all put in front of me for a reason. I mean, even I'm learning more from my kids than I think I've ever taught my kids.
Great?
Yeah,
so great. When you allow it to go on and stop being dad or mom for a moment, and you're like, whoa, like they're the best little teachers.
I've had so many aha moments where it's like, why did I just get upset? I mean,
Yeah.
look at what just unfolded in
Right.
front of me. If I would have just had some patience and just calmed down for a minute.
Take a breath.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember I was living in Salt Lake City and I kept dropping something in the corner of my room. But I've been I forget what item it was. I've been looking for it forever, but I kept dropping something in the corner of my room. And then, after a couple days, I'm like upset. I'm like, why? Why does this keep happening? Well, I go to bend down to grab it, and the item I was looking for was right there, just barely slid underneath my bed. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I guess if I was more observant, instead of so impatient, then I would see what
instead of why,
what creation's giving me. Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Life is a beautiful thing.
So, I guess the transition I was referring to is where you had gone to a teacher, being a great student, you were absorbing all of it. So, at what point did you just get this following where you got so excited talking about it, where you decided you could teach?
Well, actually, it was just I was in Salt Lake at that moment too, and I happened to be at an event, and I forget the lady's name, but she was a shaman, and she had people walking through the vortex, and you're supposed to explain who you were going to be in the future, what you wanted to be. Oh. And I was standing in line, and believe me, I never imagined being a teacher at all, because some of my school programs and stuff from when I was a kid and stuff, and they're more than just school programs. Just from when I was a kid, I didn't like speaking in front of people. I was too embarrassed to. What? So for me to be a teacher, you should have seen me as a kid. But I was really shy.
He's the observer.
Yeah, and so to be a teacher, I never in a million years thought I would be, and to do the things that I'm doing now, I never thought I would ever do. But it's, again, the love that I have for myself now. But as I was standing in that line getting ready to go through, all of a sudden I heard teacher. And I'm like,
just came out of your little Jiminy Cricket?
Now that I think about it, so many people tell me they hear this voice, and it was like, hey, I guess I have too now that I think about it.
I listened.
Yeah. But and it just felt right at the time. Mm-hmm. So for some reason I said it when I went through the vortex. I said a teacher and a healer. And so I went through that vortex, and one thing led into another and stuff. And so I also started to look at it this way. I was like, I went through my mundane life, my mundane trials and tribulations and everything to get to this point, and now I know I want to accelerate on this field, but I felt like I was so far behind. But truly I wasn't, because I needed all those experiences to be who I was.
And just accept your gifts too, because we didn't celebrate those early on.
Well, and all the things I thought were failures weren't failures.
No.
They were just things preparing me for who I am today.
It's called a compendium, where everything you've ever learned comes into one glorious thing.
I'll trust you on that. I don't know the big words, so I'll trust you on that one. But
my dad taught me.
I forget where I was just going now.
You said you had squirrel. So the big long line of everything you've ever learned, that whole toolbox. It wasn't bad experiences.
No, nothing at all.
It was awesome experiences.
Everything. I mean, I can look back now, and everything was perfect for me becoming who I am.
Absolutely.
Every challenge I've ever had was perfect to becoming who I am today.
So then, from that vortex, did you just start gathering students? I mean, because sometimes just when you're ready, they just appear. And you're like, wait a second, I have so much to share. This has got to be a bigger forum. And that's how Consciously Rising came about. That's how your Theta Healing practice came about. So tell us about some of after your first 4 students, your friends, how did that trickle out? How did that ripple go into the community?
Just and passion. I mean, I was very passionate about what I was doing. I was lucky enough to meet Christine Essex and come into Luminosity here, and
she's on this older grid that's been a part of the health and wellness of
me and
Vegas.
Her clicked really good, and we did a lot of great things together. Mm-hmm. So I was very blessed. I was very blessed at everything. It was like I truly feel like creation picked me up when I chose this, and took me and just guided me around through a lot of these things. I mean, yes, I had to take action in a lot of these things, but the way the teachers I've had, I feel so blessed. I mean, I've been able to study under 2 of the best healers in this world, some of the two most blessed people in this world.
Give them a shout out.
And more than that, just them. I mean, Dr. Roberts and Vianna Steibel, they amazing people, and I feel very blessed to have been able to work with them, to personally know them, to be able to study under them and stuff like that. It means a lot in my
Growth.
in my career,
In your
my
journey.
growth. It made me feel like I was truly here and I was part of it.
And this all made sense, right?
Every teacher I've had, Don Marie, Chris Marquez, all the teachers I've had throughout the years have been very important, because each and every one I've learned from. I mean, I've learned from their mistakes. I've learned from the good positive things they've done. I've learned from everybody.
Everything's been a gift.
Yeah, even my students. My students are a blessing too. I love my students asking questions so I can learn. Because maybe I haven't thought about it that way, and if I haven't thought about it that way, whoa, I got
then
something to think
add,
about
right?
that night. Man, I'll be going on for
like
weeks thinking, whoa, and that's just who I am. That's the way I've always been, and that's why I've been preparing myself since the beginning of this journey, since I was born, because of the way I think, really.
Awesome. We're talking with Jeff here at Luminosity Wellness Center, and he's here celebrating the creation of the metamorphosis of his theta healing turning into a bigger center, a wellness community and sacred space that people can come and practice. So we'll be right back with you. We're going to take a little break with our sponsors and be back at the Health and Wellness Hour. Thank you.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. So it's not a bad idea every now and then to check your battery. If you don't know how to do it, have somebody check it for you. Just a visual inspection can tell you a lot about your battery. So as we can see here, this battery's got a hold down. It's nice and tight. The cables are on. They don't look bad. We've got a cover. We don't see any corrosion. Everything's kind of tight, looking good. A little bit of dirt, that's normal, but nothing's leaking, no real cause for alarm here. So that's a good sign. Doesn't mean it's good, but at least visually we know that it's intact. Okay, so we're looking at a battery here that shows signs of corrosion. We want to test that battery to make sure it's good. Usually when they're getting like this, there's going to be a problem leaking some acid at the top. We ran the test and we find out it has 396 cold cranking amps, but the battery requires 650. So it's just not enough. The battery is going to go soon. Better to know now than later. Okay, so the benefits of checking the cable is because this cable's rotted out. What we'll find is this is the problem, not the battery. So it'll save you from buying a battery, still having the no start, only to find out that it's a cable. This type of corrosion is common in diesels. Okay, so we're getting ready to jump the car, but we have to have some battery cables. And we have to check those too before we hook them up to the battery. So here we have our standard set of battery cables. We just look them over, see if the ends are frayed, if everything's connected all right. Everything looks good here. Wouldn't hurt to check the rest of the cable just to make sure the dog didn't get it and chew it up. We have red and black. Red's positive, black's negative. You always want to hook the positive up first and then the negative. And I'll show you how that's done right now. Keep these off to the side so they're not touching each other. Hook up your positive. You can find that right here by the plus sign, the negative sign. Plus is positive, red. Make sure that's securely hooked up. Keeping these away from each other. Hook up your negative cable. Just got to fight it on there. Figure out a way to get it. Wiggle it a little bit so it ensures a good connection. Now you're transferring voltage. If I hit these two together, we're going to spark. Kind of want to avoid that. Won't kill you. Kind of fun. A lot of people think if they can turn the headlights on, the battery's fine. That's not always the case. It takes very little amperage to turn a light on, but it takes a lot of amperage to start the starter. I recommend checking the charging system every oil change. At Sun Valley Automotive, there's never a charge for that. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
Welcome back to the Health and Wellness Hour here at Luminosity Wellness Center in Northwest Las Vegas. My name is Abra McGrath, and we are here at 2400 North Tenaya Way, brought to you by WWDBTV.com. And you can catch us on YouTube. We have lots of things going on here at the center. A lot of new affiliates that have joined the house. Some old friends coming back in, regaining our tribe. So if you can tell us, Jeff, about what we have going on and what's in store for us for your Theta Healing and how that's evolving, and Jeff Renel.
Okay.
Take it away.
So the projects that I got going on right now, I am a Theta Healing practitioner and instructor. That's the main modality that I am used to working with, and that I basically work with because it's just what I do. But currently I am working at recreating the Sacred Art of Healing, which was my company before. But before that was just me working out of there. Now I'm going to try to expand a little bit more because there's a few more aspects I would like to add to my practice. I would like to have yoga there to create different type of programs for people to come through, because it's just not about the physical and the nutrition, it is about the emotional. So I want to bring all the three aspects together. So the new Sacred Art of Healing is going to be a whole new look. I'm going to have my center going on, and so we're going to have yoga. I'm hopefully going to find a Tai Chi instructor. So
we found one, by the way.
Oh, well, I want to get his
name.
So
under the Luminosity umbrella, we have Damon.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. But yeah,
we're
trying to
plugging
get
you
Tai
in.
Chi there.
Yeah.
Qi Gong, whatever, any energy type of movement classes we can get in there, I want to do, because people need to get into exercise just as well as heal the emotional aspect, as healing the body with the nutrition as well too. So we also I'll have more practitioners working there besides just me, and so they all have their own. Well, we have one practitioner room that we're using that we'll work through and stuff, but they are all specialized in their own modalities and their own thing. And that's the unique thing about holistic medicine in this way, is everybody learns with their knowledge, and they start to master. And that's why my teachers are special to me, because I learned the way I was supposed to learn and the things I was supposed to learn, and you will learn the things that you're supposed to learn through your knowledge and stuff.
And you bring those like-minded following. You have, each person has their own following.
Yeah, but we're all different, and so and I know Christine is doing that here at Luminosity, where she has a variety of practitioners, so the person can come and try to get what they feel is proper for them. And that's the unique thing, I think, with the holistic medicine like this, is everybody has a unique gift that they're offering.
Right.
And that's what I love with having other practitioners in my center as well too. So we're going to be doing that as long with classes, and we're going to do all kinds of classes. I'm bringing everybody in. This isn't going to be spiritual and health.
Right.
I got a good friend, Josh Carpenter, Mr. Blue. He does social media, so hopefully I can get him in to do some good social media classes.
Awesome. So just touching everything that we feel like we need to learn at any particular time.
Yeah, any type of tool or any type of knowledge that's going to help us advance. I'm going to look into doing summits as well, as you know.
So Consciously Rising.
Consciously, yeah, that's what I was just going to get into. Consciously, so as you know, I just started my new show, Consciously Rising, which is here on WWDBTV.
Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Television.
Cut that out. No, I'm happy to be back on this team with John Stiles, a wonderful person, so I'm really happy to be back over here doing my own show. I'm excited about that.
Tell us when
I'm
it
having
is.
a lot of fun. We shoot on Thursday night, so we go out live on Thursday night from 6 to 7. So basically every Monday morning you'll have a new episode coming out on YouTube. On YouTube, on his channel as well too.
And Luminosity Wellness Center website will have it.
Yep, you'll find it on my website, The Sacred Art of Healing, which will be open here soon. We're still in the process of opening up that.
Yeah, Jeff's in the next building with us. We're all on the same property.
Yeah, here in the same location. But one big happy family working together.
Smoke Ranch in Tenaya Way.
Yep. Yeah, we're all working together like we should be. But Consciously Rising, I'm really excited about. That's going to be basically about us just moving into the future and evolving in that right way, in the positive way. I'm really trying not to have anything negative at all on my show, because I don't even want to focus on that, because in the future we won't be focusing on that. We'll be in the heart, where we're just focusing on what's positive, what actually benefits us, and not what we're afraid of and running from. So
absolutely,
that's what my show's about. So anything that's on the positive and the up and up that's going to help us move into the future is what I'm looking to put onto my show. So we've already had Michael Sean Brown, who's absolutely amazing. He was talking about Delphi Amphitheater, which is a huge project they're doing just
Was that
south.
the training of feeding medicine into the earth, like healing the planet? Was that the same
Well, they're
gentleman?
doing the same thing as well too, but that was probably Adam. We
Oh,
were
okay,
talking
sorry.
about the Kogies and the Native Americans,
Yes,
which that
yes.
event is going on this weekend right now. Adam is another amazing one. So I really feel blessed on the first 3 interviews I've had already, and I'm looking forward and trying to nail down some other big ones. And I'm really just going after the passions I want to hear
Absolutely.
about and bringing them
Yeah,
onto my show so
right.
I could have fun. And then I'm just trying to bring my guests along with me so
Absolutely.
we can all have a good time and learn.
Well, you
and-
can
and
hear
move
how
forward.
passionate Jeff is. I mean, we collectively like rev each other up, and I know that
You
each
gotta calm me down.
Yeah. and my family's sick of me already. They're like, go spread the word because we need a break.
That's it. Yeah, I got to talk on the radio or the shows as much as possible.
Yeah, my
Other
husband
people-
and my kid are like, oh, mom, or oh, husband, or wife, or whatever, and so it's funny. It's like, yeah, we need a bigger audience for sure. Yeah, so the passion just is there, and Jeff is bringing it to the community here, and we're really excited to have you back on the property.
Well, thank you. Thank
You
you.
were one of the
If
first people that I met when I came through the doors last year. It's almost been a year.
I was actually one of the originals
Yeah.
of Luminosity, so it's definitely nice to be back.
That's
so.
really great.
So,
So-
if I can leave your viewers with just one last message,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
to be in a place of love, man. Remember to be in that place of love. If you feel restriction, just ask yourself, what is this? And what is it teaching me? When you find out what it's teaching you, it's going to help your subconscious let go of that and move forward, because then your subconscious knows you're protected. So,
And we were
yeah.
talking about that with the understanding comes the being graceful, having the empathy, and being humble.
Yeah, but a lot of that comes from understanding and love. Yeah, the 2 big things in life, really.
The simplicity of putting that into your daily practice, just kicking back and understanding a little bit more.
Yeah, and be the true you, because the universe is calling for it. I mean, that's our special gift, I think, inside, is that true gift that I think we're afraid to express at times because we think we'll look funny, but that's our true gift, our true calling to give to the universe. So
Just
thank you for
like
letting
Bob
me be on
Marley,
here.
one love, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And that's truly it, one love.
Yeah.
What did I just seen that on something? Oh God, Canes.
Oh, did you?
They have their new shirts. It says one and a heart around
Really?
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is awesome. One love. Yeah.
I love when love is trendy. Very great to
Awesome.
have you, Jeff.
Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing all these wonderful things manifest. Just this past year alone, everything we've talked about in this room, the next room, the buildings next door, everything has come to fruition. Every topic that we've come across. So now that we're adding bigger and broader topics, super excites me because it's endless. It's
Yeah.
just an endless forum of something for everybody and integrating our community where we can kind of burst through those bubbles and get people to recognize that we're not so different.
Yeah.
Super rad.
Well, we are all different, but let's just start to come from that understanding to accept that difference.
True.
Because that's truly what makes us stronger and excel faster, is embracing the difference. Because, hey, if we were the same, we wouldn't grow.
No,
Because
it's
we'd be
true.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
We
It'd be
need
a
that
little boring.
difference. Yeah, we need that difference. Let's just learn to embrace that difference and not be scared of different.
Well, and you're definitely not boring. Very dynamic
you.
person. so I like to think, great minds think alike, right? So, or differently. We got to change that colloquialism.
Yeah.
Thank you
that was
so
made
much.
for the ego.
Great minds think.
Ooh.
Yes, I like that.
Simplicity. Great
Yes,
minds
great
think.
minds
Thank you from
think,
our
yes.
producer of the show. So thank you for joining us today at the Health and Wellness Hour here at Luminosity Wellness Center. My name is Abra McGrath, and we'll see you next time.